I watched the Planet of the Apes TV series as a kid back in the 1970s, and I had no idea that it was set on Earth. My sister, watching in the same room at the exact same time, knew the whole time. How this escaped me is anybody's guess. I'm rereading my library and making that decision as to which books I'm going to keep and which ones I'm going to let go. And I guess it's no surprise that today's book is The Planet of the Apes by Pierre Boulle. My first memory of this franchise was of the TV series in the 70s, and I had no idea at the time that there was a bunch of movies about it or even a book. I loved the TV series, but I don't think I actually really kind of twigged that it was based on a future potential of what Earth was going to be like. And then I watched the movie, the first one with Charlton Heston, continuing to be blissfully unaware until the very end, where I saw that half-buried Statue of Liberty where the penny dropped, and I went, oh, okay. Now I understood the context of it all, and how it hadn't happened before that, God knows. So most people know the famous ending of this movie, and I'm not really giving anything away here. And as my sister had already pointed out, the answer was already there. I just hadn't been paying attention. And I suppose when we were kids, TV was still such a big thing that you only had the one, and you all watched as a family unit, and you didn't kind of really talk about it during the show, and you certainly went straight on to another TV show afterwards. So you didn't really get the opportunity to talk about it. And that's my rationalisation, and I'm going to defend that one till the cows come home, as to how I was that kind of idiot who didn't understand what was going on. But there you go. In the year 2500, Ulysses Mayrow joins an interstellar expedition to a distant planet that's orbiting around Betelgeuse, some 300 light years away. When they arrive on this planet, they discover something astonishing. It looks exactly like Earth, except that the roles of the species have been reversed. Humans are mute, living like animals, and the apes have created a very sophisticated civilization. Captured and studied by the ape scientists, Ulysses slowly proves that he can think and speak, eventually convincing two chimpanzee researchers, Zera and Cornelius, that he comes from another planet, and on that planet, humans are the dominant species. The author starts exploring how the apes are conducting medical experiments on humans. During this time, there is an unconscious lab subject who starts to talk and recites from genetic memory the events that had led to the fall of the human civilization, where humans had tamed the apes and were using them as their servants. He recounted the history of the apes learning to talk and a cerebral laziness taking over the humans, which led to the apes taking over the human homes, driving the humans out of the city and sending them off to distant camps where they started attacking them there. At the same time, archaeological evidence is discovered of a prior civilization that showed that on this particular planet, the previous dominant species had been human. Fearing for the life of this strange otherworldly human, Zera and Cornelius arranged to send Ulysses, Nova, his mute human mate, and their son back to the spaceship so he can return to Earth. They arrive on Earth to discover that thousands of years have passed and that apes now rule the Earth as well. Reading this book was fascinating, especially the latter half, when you consider that the apes were conducting medical experiments on humans, and we've been doing the reverse on this planet for many decades. And the parallel story of the archaeological dig made me realise just how very little we know about our own distant past. Discoveries like Göbekli Tepe are constantly reminding us that there's possibly a lot more to our ancient history than we ever realised. This book was written in 1963, and he has created what I consider some very prescient parts to the story, especially as we now are starting to discover our own very ancient history. We could end up progressing the same way as the ancestral humans of this story if we don't continue to engage our brains. And that, to me, is why we need to keep reading. So, is this a stay or a let go? Well, it is a let go, because I think this book is important enough to continue being in circulation. Plus, I'm going to give it one more read because I think there's a bunch of stuff I want to explore some more before I finally let it go. So if you have read this, I would love to know what you thought of it, and I'll see you next time.